Hey there folks, my name is Empty Berry, and welcome to today's episode of Lore to Go, the series where we talk about the story behind games in 5 minutes or less. This episode will be about the Hive god known as Savathun. If you haven't seen my previous videos on the Hive, I'll link to them in the description, and I recommend checking them out. This video will focus on what Savathuns Goals are, which is particularly relevant with the release of the Witch Queen expansion coming out soon. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel in order to see more videos about characters and events in the Destiny universe. With all that said, let's jump into it. Savathun is one of the 3 Hive gods, which made a deal with the Worm gods millennia ago as a way to gain power and immortality. As part of this deal, the Hive must satisfy the appetite of the worms, which is done through acts of violence. For thousands of years, the Hive have traveled through the universe, destroying other races and feeding their worms to gain more power. However, after many years, one of the Hive gods realized that they had been tricked by the worms. The worms' appetite was steadily growing, and was starting to get to the point where the Hives were unable to satisfy them via acts of violence. Oryx attempted to resolve this issue with the tithing system, in which each hive would give some of the power gained via killing to their superiors. While this worked, Savathun was unsatisfied with the system due to a fatal flaw. If a hive's underlings were destroyed, the tithe system would be broken, leaving them weak and vulnerable. Thinking upon this problem, she decided to take her fleet and leave the rest of the hive in order to come up with a solution to the worm's appetite. From this, she came up with 2 potential solutions: create a murder battery and change the nature of the worms. A murder battery is a concept where acts of violence are able to continue indefinitely and create an almost infinite amount of tribute to Savathun. Her first idea was to utilize an event horizon, in which time moves slower for those within it than those outside. She sent a few of her hive into the event horizon, with the hopes that their worms would be tricked into having less of an appetite, while the hive outside could still create tribute at a normal rate, thus making it seem like more tribute was being generated. Unfortunately, the worms saw through the trick and consumed the hive within the event horizon. Savathun went back to the drawing board and came up with a different plan. She wanted to find a pocket dimension in which time moved faster than the rest of the universe. She could then place Hive within that dimension and have them generate tribute through violence. To the outside world, this would be eons worth of tribute in a short amount of time, thus easily satisfying the worm's appetite. On paper, this seemed feasible, and Savathun simply needed access to a pocket dimension to attempt this. The Distributary, which is the birthplace of the Awoken, is one such location. This could explain her interest in the Dreaming City, as it holds the key for entering the Distributary from our universe. While a murder battery would satisfy the appetite of the worms, it is not Savathun's true goal. She has always had reservations about the nature of the worms, going so far as to question if what they are doing right to Oryx. While away from the rest of the hive, she came up with a plan which she called Imbaru. Her goal is to change the nature of feeding the worms, and to move from a system which uses violence to a system which utilizes deception. Savathun's true nature is one of cunning, and she believes that with enough power, potentially from a murder battery, she could change the nature of the worms to match her own. Her thought process is that anytime someone misunderstands her nature or her plans, her cunning has defeated them as surely as if she defeated them in battle. Therefore, she should be able to gain tribute and power through every false prediction, misguided theory, or fearful rumor that comes from the thought of her. Assuming she is able to succeed, she believes that she can eventually become as formless as the mist, existing everywhere that her schemes and conspiracies also exist, and essentially become immortal. With the upcoming launch of the Witch Queen expansion, we are sure to learn more about Savathun and her plans. While we don't know much yet, it seems as though she wants to utilize the light in order to either feed her worm or to escape them entirely. Whether she succeeds or not has yet to unfold, but I will be there with you to explore that story when the time comes. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Lore to Go. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Be on the lookout for more information pertaining to Savathun as we get closer to the launch of the Witch Queen. That's all for today though. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.